Let me also now introduce our guests who are joining us this evening. We have National Spokesperson of the BJP and BJP MP, Aprajita Sarangi. We also have Congress Spokesperson Rohan Gupta. We have political analyst Varun Singh. We also have author and analyst Rashid Kidwai. Good to have all of you on the broadcast with us. Rohan, let me begin with you first. All the Congress leaders that we heard from today said that this has nothing to do as far as the summons that were given to the Gandhis or the National Herald case. That's a separate investigation that is going on. These are protests because we want to raise the issues of the common people like price rise, inflation and GST. But I want to begin by understanding you had the opportunity to do that on the floor of the House. Why take to the streets?
Ridhima, am I audible to you?
Sure, please go ahead.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you, Rohan. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So, Ridhima, first of all, if you remember the time this monsoon session started, we were not allowed to debate on price rise or inflation. Our MPs were suspended. After that, it was pre-organized program of Congress Party that on 5th of August, across the country, we will do rallies against the price rise and all. Why BJP government didn't give us permission? So we have no right to protest against inflation either inside the parliament also, and we have no right to do permission even on the roads.
No, sir, I think you didn't hear my question correctly. I said you had the opportunity as far as the floor of the House is concerned. And let me just, one sec. And let me just, sir, give me, sir, I will give you all the time. I've opened the show. I have opened the show with you. Let me just complete my question, sir, and all the time is yours. One sec. Last week itself, we heard from Piyush Goyal, who had said that we are ready to discuss as far as the issue of price rise is concerned. Why is the opposition not taking up that opportunity? All the time is yours. Please respond.
No, Ridhima, first of all, if you see the monsoon session, they never allowed the discussion in the beginning of the session. After our suspension of the MPs, the last day, Nirmala Sitharaman comes and what she tells to the country that there is no price rise, there is no inflation. Come on, the whole country is facing the serious inflation. The inflation has gone beyond the RBI limit of 6%. Even in 12 countries, we are now there at 7% of inflation. Congress had organized rallies against inflation across country on 5th of August. Delhi police didn't give us permission. So we have right to raise the issues of people. Why BJP is so much worried? And according to them, if there is no inflation, I think then how can they resolve the issue? The issue is the denial mode, Ridhima. You cannot be in denial mode as far as democracy is concerned, and the opposition has right to demonstrate for the cause of people. What is wrong in that?
Okay, Aprajita Sarangi, what is wrong? What is wrong if the opposition decides to pick up issues that are concerning the common people? And I agree with them. Issues like price rise, inflation, unemployment, these are issues. Look at what's happened. One sec, Rohan. Look at what's happened just today. We heard from the central bank. You had the RBI monetary policy. Rates were hiked once again by almost 50 basis points. We are back to the pre-pandemic levels just because the RBI feels that this is the stance that they need to take at this point of time. Even if you look at the unemployment figures as far as the CMI is concerned, just for August itself, I have the numbers here, it's at 7.3%. Urban unemployment is at 8.5%. Shouldn't these issues be highlighted?
A very good evening. Now, I can only say that after seeing the antics of the Congress today, the entire nation is amused. But I must compliment the Congress party for their good performance on the Sadak of India today. I wish this kind of performance they would have put up in the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. I'm a member of the Lok Sabha and I know what has transpired there. You know, when Honorable Minister Nirmala Sitharaman ji stood up to talk about price rise, and she did make a very good speech, a very convincing speech with all the reports from so-called outsiders like UNDP, like Bloomberg, like IMF, like Sri Raghuram Rajan ji. These people, the people from the Congress, did not have the patience to sit and listen and respond and ask questions. They just staged a walkout. So are they serious about the issues of price rise, the unemployment and the GST that they have been talking about? This is the first question. You know what? It is the combined responsibility of both the opposition and the government to run the parliament very peacefully, and we should see that the productivity rate of the parliament rises up. But because of these people, it has come down, and I'm sure the nation is watching. This is one. And number two, see, the fact remains that they are flexing their muscles before the Enforcement Directorate. They know what's coming. They know the incriminating evidences that have come to the hands of the ED. They are aware of those.
Okay.
Sri Mallikarjun Kharge also has been aware. So I think that fear is there, that apprehension is there. So they are trying to kind of cow down.
So the BJP
ED.
is not convinced that this
two.
had anything to do as far as the common people's issues are concerned. The BJP is still confident that this was all because of the summons that were given to the Gandhis. Well, I'll talk about that in just a bit. But Rohan, I have a question for you before I bring in the other guests as well. If you say your priority is to speak about issues like price rise, inflation and unemployment, have these issues come to light just in the last 15 days? Why did the Congress not take to the streets before these summons that were given to the Gandhis? And I'll let you respond. Give me 10 seconds. What we saw play out in the national capital last week was this. You had Congress workers taken to the streets around Vijay Chowk, and they said we're protesting against price rise, but the placards that they have were of Sonia Gandhi and the Gandhi siblings. So I'm trying to understand how come the Congress suddenly wants to focus on people's issue just in the last 15 to 20 days after the summons that were given to the Gandhis. Isn't the timing a bit surprising?
I think, Ridhima, you're not correct. The agitation against price rise is there for last 6 months. All the state capitals, before last 4 months, before all these summons things came, we have been raising these issues for last 6 months. And there are programs which are organized at state capitals.
I apologize for interrupting, Rohan. We're getting a reaction coming in from the Home Minister now.